Today, the city is working through its business continuity plan. We're working to ensure, first of all, the health and safety of our residents is our top priority, and we're working to ensure that we continue to provide the critical services that the citizens of the city and the region require from the City of St. John's. The information provided by the government, provided on their website. The provincial government, Department of Health, are taking the lead on this, and we're there to support them in their work, and also to make sure that we're protecting our employees as well. We began today by encouraging and working through a process where our employees that can are able to work from their home. And that deployment of that continues this afternoon. We're also working towards, in terms of the recycling, one big change that people will see. There will be no curbside recycling for a couple of weeks for occupational health and safety reasons. It's important that we stop that at this point. And but the residential drop-off will continue to be open at Robin Hood Bay. So that's one change that we're making. Of course, our recreation facilities remain closed, our swimming pools remain closed, our archives building is closed, and our other business centres and visitor centres remain closed. We continue to be concerned, of course, in addition to that, with the economic impact of this and the economic impact on the individuals and the businesses of our city. This, after our snow event and state of emergency, is another difficult issue for our businesses and our residents, and we're very concerned about that. In fact, this evening I'll be participating along with the other Big City Mayor's Caucus, of which I'm a member, across the country, participating in a telephone conference call with Deputy Prime Minister Freeland, where we're hoping to have more discussion on how that assistance program to businesses and individuals is rolled out. From our perspective, this is our second major event, and the impact is significant. So we feel that support should be rolled out quickly, and should be very fluid in how it's done. We need the assistance. Our businesses and individuals need the assistance now, and I want to work with our other mayors across the country to make sure that that assistance is flowing. So, if you have any questions or any further.
You reference the big city, businesses and some funding that's going to be available. Can you sort of elaborate a little bit on that?
The Big City Mayor's Caucus is, I think, it's 22 cities across the country, and the mayors we work as a group. And one of the issues we're all dealing with this issue, and it's interesting as you go across the country and talking to my colleagues. We're all dealing with the same issues, just on bigger, larger scales, in many cases. So what we'll be doing this evening is having the opportunity to meet with the Deputy Prime Minister by teleconference, and being able to explain the individual circumstances in each of our communities. And I'll be impressing upon her the need for that assistance to be coming soon, because I think St. John's and the Northeast Avalon region has been particularly hard hit with the impact of COVID-19 and the state of emergency that we had earlier.
What is it going to, like, the city itself or businesses, or can you elaborate on the assistance?
This is the assistance that the federal government has announced previously, but now this is just an opportunity to give our input to the Deputy Prime Minister.
Of the snowstorm in January and financial assistance, we still haven't really had much of an update on that. Have you heard anything about St. John's residents getting any financial support?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We are still estimating that our cost is in the range of $6 to $7 million, our additional cost. We have to wait till the end of the snow season, which hopefully is soon, and then we'll be able to submit our our request to the federal government for aid. So the way it works is that we have to wait till we have all our bills in for this season, and then we have to do some calculations for the federal government and then submit our claim.
Sorry, what I meant was for residents who lost work during the state of emergency.
That was being handled by the provincial government and the federal government, and I'm not sure what the status is on that right now.
You talk about the services, recycling, but what about regular garbage pickup, snow clearing, all those other services that taxpayers?
Critical services that we want to make sure that we're continuing, and certainly garbage collection is one of those. Snow clearing, wastewater treatment, water treatment, and roads, all the essential services that the residents need. They're the ones that we're focusing on, being able to deliver them to the residents of the city for the duration of this event.
Speaking of essential services, you were at a recent food policy event and spoke about investing in neighborhoods to ensure that they remain connected during emergencies, reevaluating what's considered an essential service, that sort of thing. How have those discussions kind of, furthered in light of this?
Well, those discussions after that forum never got very far because we were right into this almost immediately. But I do know that we've had some concerns passed down to us. That we've passed down to a fire and emergency services and to the Department of Public Health, and they were going on. We're in constant contact with the Department of Health and the provincial government on a daily basis on this event, and we take our lead from them. They are really the ones that we're supporting, and that we take our guidance in making the decisions that we make.
What's happening in terms of Metrobus service right now?
Metrobus service is continuing. Metrobus has taken some measures, of course, to social separation of taking the first couple of rows in the bus won't be seated, that people will be seated behind that, no more standing permitted on the buses, and going through a cleaning regimen on the buses at the end of regularly. So they've been going through that now for a few days since this began, and that will continue.
With council meetings closed to the public, how do you recommend that residents remain civically engaged?
Well, they can get our feed online. So that will be posted on our website, the video feed. And also we'll be providing opportunity for the media to be able to ask us questions remotely as we move forward. So you will also in the council chambers right now, we have some councillors that will be phoning into the meetings and participating by telephone, and we've taken advantage of that to provide some additional personal separation space for people to do our part to prevent the transmission.
I think there's a lot of people out there wondering why businesses are still open. Some people are celebrating St. Patty's today. What would your message be for them?
Well, the message is that this is managed by the Department of Health through the Chief Medical Officer, the province, and through the provincial government. The provincial government would make the call on closing any businesses. Public health is not something that we have the expertise in-house to be making those decisions, so we rely on the Department of Health and all municipalities in the province, and the majority of them across the country. So on this type of event, as opposed to the event that we had in January, we're really taking advice from and guidance from the Provincial Department of Health, and at the same time we're giving them support where support is needed and when we're requested to do so.
You mentioned the dual impact, I suppose, of Stormageddon and now this. How has city services and city staff and everybody been affected by this? It's been constant.
It's been a challenge, but our staff have been working very hard, still working at the snow clearing, but now we have this additional issue that we have to deal with, and that's keeping our staff safe, keeping them healthy, so that they can continue to provide the services that the residents of the city and the region require. So it's been challenging, but we're getting through it, and it's nice to see the sun, and hopefully we'll get to see the snow leave very shortly. But this is a very serious situation that we're dealing with, and we just want to make sure that safety of our residents and the health of our residents is the utmost, and that we continue to provide the services that we need as a municipality.
Any indication that you might be able to give some kind of a municipal tax break in terms of the levy or the mill rate, sorry?
You know, one of the things that we're talking about with the federal government is how that assistance works. So I wouldn't be able to make any comment on that right now, but we will be working with the businesses and the business community moving forward on what kind of assistance we can give. In fact, when we deferred payments and deferred interest on tax payments, we're still in the process of that window right now. So we haven't really gotten out of the other kind of relief that we gave before. We're looking at what other options are available.
In terms of large gatherings, what are your recommendations to residents on meeting and gathering?
You know, the recommendation, I think, is being given by the province of gatherings of more than 50 people. I think that was the recommendation. And again, my advice to the residents is follow the advice given by the Department of Public Health and by the Chief Medical Officer. They're the experts. They're the people that have the expertise in this. We're following their advice. And I would suggest to keep everybody safe and healthy, that the residents should follow their advice as well.
I know you're taking advice from these other authorities, but as Mayor of St. John's, do you think that the city should shut down until we get a handle on this?
You know, I'm going to leave that to the Chief Medical Officer. I mean, they're the experts, and they'll tell us, because I don't really know, and I don't think we have the expertise to know what it is exactly that needs to be done to do this. We need to, as they say, flatten the curve. We need to make sure that transmission is addressed, and I will leave that to the people, the experts, and the Chief Medical Officer to do that for us.
I guess city staff who work at like the recreational facilities, that sort of thing, they're not going to be working right now because they're all closed. Will they still be paid?
The staff will be paid, the casual staff will be paid to the end of this week, and we'll reevaluate at that time. So it's something that we're continuously monitoring. Things move quickly here, as you've figured out. So we're just going to take our time, but they will be paid till the end of the week, certainly, and then we'll review it.
Have you been in any contact with some of the organizations that help maybe some of the more vulnerable people in our society?
Yeah, we have, and you know, there's challenges there. There's going to be challenges because the people, a lot of those have employees, and then they have volunteers that are helping. So they're taking the measures that they need to take to keep their employees and their volunteers safe. So that's something that's upmost on our minds, is that we keep everybody healthy. And, you know, as we did with the snowstorm, look out for your neighbors, check on them, check on people that may need assistance, and make sure that, you know, we all help each other out. We'll get through this.
Thank you very much.
Thanks very much.